Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Danny with Azimuth Campsite. So today I want to go ahead and start my journey pertaining to self-care. So throughout the last 7 years, I've actually progressed in my life from the military to now in the civilian sector. So how have I progressed in these last 7 years? Well, this is where I'm going to be having a conversation pertaining to all this and how I got here, because where I'm at right now wasn't the place I was a few years ago. All these things that I had no idea about myself, what I was capable of doing. So this is where I'm going with this new content pertaining to self-care. So how did I get to this point where I'm at right now? Well, it started way back in my military career. As a military service member, I was always focused on the mission. So when I first started in the military, as a private or even a sergeant, I had no thought of me retiring from the military service. I was just going through life. I was just moving forward. I had no idea that there was an afterlife after the military service. However, as soon as I got closer and I started being able to see that number 20, which is retirement from the service, that's when I was like, whoa, I'm making it. And even then, I had no idea that there was an afterlife after that 20. All I was trying to do is get to the end goal, which was retire. Now, as I was thinking of that, I wasn't thinking about what was in the other side, which is where as soon as I got to close to 20 and I was starting to get into the whole I'm about to get out, then that's when everything started coming my way, all these feelings and like, what am I going to do afterwards? And that's when I started realizing, wow, there is something else in the other side besides retiring. And this is where it all started, in reference to progressing, in reference to going to the next level of my life, and really where I began my journey based off of where I'm at right now. So I would say about 5 years before retiring, there was an individual, Josarm Baldwin. And I remember him working on his laptop during his time off when he had time to work on the college. When I started asking questions about education and stuff like that, he kept on talking to me about all these opportunities and options and these things that could help you get your education, all these systems, all these programs. And he really inspired me. He's the one that actually got me going with college to pursue getting a higher education, because I didn't have a higher education. I could see retirement coming and, well, what do I have to show to the world when I get out? I don't have anything else besides my experiences. And right before, literally months before I got out, I got a bachelor's degree in applied management. I remember one time I went into this interview. I had my resume with all my accomplishments, converting all my military experiences into a resume. I had my degree with me during that interview. And when I telling him about the experiences I've had in the military and what I had done and how I was a leader, well, what happened next was he grabs my diploma and he goes, well, there it is, there you go, he got this. It's like, there you have it. I'm like, what's that? Oh, your bachelor's degree in applied management. Right there and then I knew. 23 years of military leadership service experience and a single diploma of education. Automatically, that diploma stood out. And now again, this is a professional employer out there in the business corporate world. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, there's many other opportunities to find a job without a diploma. However, that was one of my experiences that I got firsthand. So getting a degree, getting outside into the civilian sector, that was my first part of progressing as a human being, right? And beginning my journey of self-care, because that in itself, educating myself, expanding my vocabulary, that in itself is a type of self-care that we need to intentionally do for ourselves. We don't want to create a ceiling that we can't break through. We got to train ourselves. We got to build ourselves in order to take on the next phase of our life, which is after the service. And how do we do that? Well, through education and through exploration. We got to go out there and explore. And that's one thing that I learned that was important after the military, was that the educational aspects. As I was going through my initial process of joining the workforce outside the military, I didn't know what I was really doing. All I was doing is trying to pursue the next step. I was trying to gain more money. Success to me was more money, more responsibility, more title. And that was my mindset at the time. Nothing more, nothing less. Just making money was the name of the game. And how did I do that? Well, had to educate myself and explore other opportunities that could provide me that sense of value in order that I was chasing. Well, little did I know that I was actually not taking care of myself. If you're trying to chase a lot of money to have these visions of buying things and buying materialistic stuff and thinking that that's going to make you happy, of course, temporarily it's going to make you happy. As you go through life, you realize that there are some things that are more valuable than money. And to me, I learned that. I now know that after going through my journey. So that's a few things that I want to go ahead and talk about. The beginning phase of my self-care journey, which is how my mind looked like in the beginning of it. And not when I was a child, but when I was about to leave the military to now. Again, self-care is important, and we need to do as much as we can in order to try to find ways to explore opportunities that could allow us gain to know myself, self-awareness, right? We've all been trained in reference to situational awareness, but how many of us have been ever trained over and over about self-awareness? And that's a big part of my self-care journey, is self-awareness. So through all this, I just wanted to go ahead and share with you just a quick introduction pertaining to what we're going to go ahead and talk about in this section of my YouTube channel. Going to go into self-awareness, go into positive regard, we're going to go into communications, we're going to go into all kinds of things in this channel that I want to share with you that I've learned throughout the 7 past years. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to be here. Again, I'm looking at this more of a coaching and mentorship content rather than a podcast. I would really appreciate y'all to throw out some comments on this content below and let me know what questions you have so I could provide some answers. I would love to see questions thrown my way so I could be able to have that conversation. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side.